do 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 do. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Hey, Jordan.
Hi.
It is the 2025 Oscar special here at MPU. Talk again.
Gilmer's drinking some water and it's really loud.
Okay, you are at good levels. Hello, everybody. We're on the main feed. We're on Patreon right now. We're everywhere, and we're doing this episode free for everybody.
You're welcome.
So before we dive into anything, I just want to say that we are having another child.
Yep.
Congrats to us, and the possibilities of us going to a regular schedule on our podcast again is very unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
But stay tuned. We're still releasing stuff on Patreon monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still, hey, if we get, 300 patrons that are paid, then we can do this, more often. And then on top of that, go to Patreon, sign up for free, and get our newsletter. We're going to do a monthly newsletter, and that's a better way for you to keep in touch because basically, let's be honest, social media is trying to kill the artist and has been for years. And Patreon's a better way to stay up to date with what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So today that came out.
Cool.
So it tells you things I'm doing, things the podcast is doing, and things Jordan is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get to it. We're talking the Oscars. We are going to go through
What
the
number are we on?
nominations.
What number are we on? The 96th
Oh, I have no clue.
Academy Awards.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the movies, and then I'll give you my top 10 too. Okay,
Of the year?
of the year.
That's not coming from me. Just so
No.
If anyone is like, I can't wait to hear Jordan's, you're not getting it from me because I don't rank my year.
Yeah,
I can't. I
do.
can't.
So let's see.
Oh wait, I'm looking at last year's.
2025 Oscars, and
We're on the 97th. Why are they showing me? Oh, it's because of what I Googled. We're the 97th Academy Awards.
oh, why did I go to parade.com?
Just go to the Oscars.org.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. It's funny, I was giving you guff for not having things ready to go, and here I am. So let's scroll to the bottom.
Okay.
And let's go bottom to top.
So first is writing original screenplay.
Okay, what are the nominees, Jordan?
Honora, written by Sean Baker. The Brutalist, written by Brady Corbet, Mona Fastfold. A Real Pain, Jesse Eisenberg. September 5, Moritz Binder, Tim Fellbaum, Alex
I bet
David.
you're regretting saying the names, huh?
Not too bad.
Okay.
The Substance, Coralie Fargate.
Okay. We've seen all these movies, except you have not seen The Brutalist. What do you think? What's going to win? What do you want to win?
Wow, this is tough. You go first.
Well, it seems like there's
Don't do what it seems like. What are you picking? And then talk about it.
Okay.
Micah does all this research, and I'm more vote with my heart kind of person.
Yeah, it's really tough. I have been doing a lot of research. I think there's a big possibility that they're going to give it to A Real Pain because it didn't get nominated for Best Picture, and that's and Jesse Eisenberg, even though it didn't get nominated for Best Picture, has been campaigning for that movie. It's a well-written movie, great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. But I do think Honora's going to win.
Really?
I do think Honora's going to win. And if it wins that, I think it's pretty much going to win Best Picture. Well, no, because Conclave's adapted. I don't know. I think I'm probably going to go with Honora.
Okay. I'm kind of thinking The Substance.
That would be a very cool win, and
Yeah.
I would like that as well.
Yeah.
Let's go to adapted.
Okay.
Unless you wanted to say anything about the movies. We'll kind of talk about all the best
it is
pictures when we get there.
It's hard to choose, really. Because I'm also trying to feel educated about my guests, not just my heart. Because The Substance
know.
wasn't my favorite. I do like A Real Pain and Honora more. But The Substance feels the most original.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of how I'm feeling. It's a great script.
You know
it was
what?
a great movie.
I'm going to change my mind. I think A Real Pain's going to win this one.
Cool. That's great.
Yeah. Writing, adapted screenplay, we have A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. Now,
Why is Emilia Perez adapted?
I don't know. It was probably adapted from someone's stupid dream they had or something like that.
Yeah.
A side note, one of the worst movies I have ever seen, even setting aside
We'll talk about it later.
all the, yeah. I think this is a lock for Conclave. This is like a no-brainer win.
Okay.
That's what I would like to win, and that's what I think will win. Although I haven't seen Nickel Boys. We're gonna watch it tonight, and I'll add a little addendum to this episode.
Yeah.
But it seems as though
I'm also going for Conclave.
that's maybe one of the better ones.
Yeah.
But
I will just say that I think this year's kind of boring.
really,
Yeah. Compared to last year. I don't know. My heart's not as in it this year. I am way more like, I don't know.
I think
There's like a lot of these movies are like, yeah, it's good, but it's like I'm just not super passionate about. I feel like I'm not super passionate about
I
many
get
of
that.
them. So for me personally, this year's a little boring.
I think that this year is one of the most interesting because I don't think it's going to be like one of those years where a movie wins like 5 Oscars. I think it's going to be
I
like
agree with that.
2 Oscars, 3 Oscars to this movie, 1 Oscar to that movie. Like I
do
don't think there's a
too,
sweep happening.
Some of my favorite movies of this year were not nominated for.
Yeah.
We're not nominated in a way that's like that was my favorite movie of the year.
Yeah.
It's not represented.
You know what movie I wish I could give best original screenplay to?
What?
A Different Man.
Yeah.
That would be my pick if I could choose.
So A Different Man. You said A Different Man?
A Different Man.
Okay, I thought you said Better Man.
No.
Yeah. No, me too. That is maybe that
It's
might
a
be
great
my
movie.
favorite movie of the year.
Really?
It
Wow.
might be.
Okay.
I loved it so much, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, hit us with those VFX, baby.
We got Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. And this is a total heart vote, and I got to go with Kingdom.
Here's the thing. It's got to be Kingdom. None of the Planet of the Apes movies have won an Oscar.
Yeah.
And these are some of the most impressive visual effects ever set to film.
Yeah.
I know
Movie genuinely looks awesome.
it looks incredible.
Yeah.
I love everything about
And
it.
you're gonna, and people think that a movie with one ape could beat a movie only of apes. That's just stupid.
Well, yeah, there is no Better Man without Kingdom, kind of a
I guess
thing,
there is
you
a
know?
part in Better Man where there's a lot of apes, but not for the whole movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Better Man. Alien Romulus is great, but you have that Ian Holm Ian, whatever his name is, Ian Holm,
Bilbo.
yeah, Bilbo thing that looks really
bad. Yeah.
Dune Part 2 would be a valiant win.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the Austin Butler planet. Never seen that in a movie ever before. So I would be just as happy if that one won.
And I think it probably will. I think weirdly enough, every year that an Apes movie comes out, it probably should win because it's like the most impressive visual effects ever up to that point.
Yeah.
But there's always something that is maybe a little more like critical.
Yeah.
Like critically beloved.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's going to win, but I have to go for it.
Yeah.
And Wicked would be very silly if that won. Though the effects are not... actually, I don't really want to even talk about it. Sound. A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. Pretty cool
that's cool.
Wild Robot has a nom here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Dune. Come on.
Yeah. That would be my vote.
I would love A Complete Unknown, though. Replicating how those recordings sound, using the same mics, all that stuff. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Recorded that live, like in a take.
Yeah.
That's how they did it, which is pretty cool. No lip syncing.
Yeah.
As far as I've been told.
So I would love
which is unusual for a biopic, right? More or less.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I'm with Dune Part 2.
It's got to be Dune Part 2, though. I'm happy with skipping short film.
Okay.
I haven't seen them, don't know about them. Kind of, to be honest, don't care.
Okay.
Production design. This is a fun one.
Yeah.
Because I actually think all of these are actually admirable wins.
Mine is okay. So we have Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, Wicked. Anything that Nosferatu is nominated for me, it's like, you got to give it to it. It's so cool.
Yeah,
That movie is so cool.
I'm kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
But Brutalist being about production design and the low budget and all that stuff, easy win.
Okay, but here's the question.
Yeah.
Not to keep bringing it up, because anyone who likes movies has heard about it. But if there was AI used, which there was, it's confirmed.
Yeah.
It was used for something that was production design.
It wasn't. It was used for pictures that hang in a gallery at the end of the movie for like maybe 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
And the rest of the movie, it didn't use it. So having seen the movie, I now don't. I mean, I still wouldn't use it if I directed the movie, but having seen it, I don't really think that affects the movie in any way at all.
Okay.
That's my opinion on it.
Okay.
So, and I mean, yeah, they're using AI on everything now. So as much as I don't want to just say like that lets you off the hook, it is kind of like my buddy Trevin said, it's like people are attacking these really small movies.
Yeah.
And
when
yet,
the big movies are using them.
Blockbusters are using it like all the time on everything.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, yeah, stepping away from that, I didn't see The Brutalist. It is set in a time period that I love.
Yeah.
But also Nosferatu, it being a period piece. It's just so it's just a personal note. It's just so visually pleasing. And the castle looked so cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just thinking about the movie now. It's just so cool.
It's wonderful.
I really was scared to see that movie.
Yeah.
And that might be my favorite movie of the year.
But Conclave, I mean, working on those tiny sets, those little rooms, all of that stuff, incredible. Dune Part 2.
I feel like Conclave is the quietest.
Yeah.
One.
But it's like a miracle because the movie's never boring to look at. And yet they're often in locations that are kind of boring.
Yeah.
They're often in locations that are not, like the Sistine Chapel. That's kind of a really wonderful place.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a miracle of the movie.
True.
Dune Part 2 is Dune Part 2. What can you even say? It's unbelievable. And I saw Wicked last night, and for the complaints I have on the movie, it's not the production. The production design is amazing. It looks fantastic. And they did a wonderful... Like, if that won, I would not bat an eye. You know what I mean? But I got to go with Nosferatu, too.
Cool.
Let's skip Best Picture.
Okay.
Go up to music.
Yeah, we're just not going to cover it.
So music, we have El Mal, a pretty bad song that's in a movie full of really bad songs.
When I was listening to Blank Check, the Blankies.
Yeah.
And they were talking, I think this is around where I stopped listening, but they were talking about song. And it brought them back to Amelia Perez, of course, because the song is nominated. And they're like, all the songs are like 55 seconds. There's nothing to even latch on to.
It's true.
Why would it ever even get nominated?
This is like El Mal is maybe the closest to something, and I kind of like the song.
But Joe Reed said that it's like, yeah, it's so true. He's like, that song's terrible. Zoe Saldana just dances well, or Griffin sings or something. It's like, yeah, none of the songs are good for even a second to me. The only song to me that might be good was the very first song in the movie. Because it felt the most like a song.
You're saying this or Griffin
I'm
said
saying
this? Yeah, okay.
And then when we got to that song, I mean, I was already fully out on this movie. But when we got to that song, I was like, what is happening? Because none of the songs pushed the plot forward. It had no reason to be a musical, which it's, I'm
well, let's save that. Let's save that. Yeah,
but it's just so dumb that a song would get nominated. It's like, just because it's a musical, it has to get nominated.
Well, and Mi Camino got nominated too, which was the one that was one of the worst musical sequences I've ever seen directed. I believe that was the one where Selena Gomez is like jukeboxing. Okay. And singing about her boyfriend. Karaoke, that's what I'm thinking of.
I think the other song that I actually thought was good was when the people were singing. And all of their heads were...
I did not like that song.
I thought that was the most powerful song.
I thought
a movie that was not powerful.
I thought El Mal was one of the better ones, and then there's one where Amelia Perez is falling in love with this woman, and it almost reaches like a melody, and
then it stops,
and then it cuts away before you have a chance to like remember it. It's very silly.
But next we have is The Journey. I don't know.
Why
don't they put from the 688?
I don't know what that movie is.
Is Sing Sing a musical?
I don't believe it is.
Okay. But something Like a Bird from Sing Sing, and Never Too Late
from Elton John, Never Too Late.
So what is that? Just a documentary about him?
Yeah.
I don't want him to win another one. I was so mad when he won that one year.
I've heard a lot of people say, so I'm basing this on this. I haven't heard the song The Journey, but I've heard a lot of people hear that Diane Warren is basically out campaigning, being like, come on, just give me the Oscar now. I've been nominated a lot of times, and these are crappy songs, so this is the least crappy. Like,
Okay,
give me the
I'll
Oscar.
give it to her for
So
that.
that's what I'm going to go with.
Who is Diane Warren?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
As a musician, I probably should be ashamed. Sorry that the heater kicked on, people.
I hope that she's saying it like that at things.
That's
Just
how.
give it to me.
Yeah.
That sounds like a tune, and I think you should leave. I just want it. Just give it to me.
Yeah. Music. Now, this we got to talk
Original
about.
score.
A controversy here. We have The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. Now, this is a slam dunk Brutalist. The score in The Brutalist is like an all-timer score.
Okay.
But there was a movie that wasn't nominated this year called Dune Part 2 because it was not eligible because they deemed that too many themes were...
The same from the first movie.
Yeah, which is
just how a movie works.
silly nonsense.
Yeah.
And yet, a movie called Wicked was nominated for Best Score when... And I saw the movie last night.
How did Wicked not get a Best Original Song?
Because
It's
there's not original songs.
Yeah, never mind.
See,
never mind.
this is the silly thing. The music
Oh, it's not original.
is not original. And yes, there are moments with a score, but it's based on the musical themes of the songs. I don't know how this thing got nominated for Best Score and Dune didn't. And the parts that aren't the songs...
Are people talking about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the parts that aren't the songs are not like... It's not like anything notable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just filling in
filler.
space.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, no.
So-
Whoever, not to. I guess it's going to sound mean, but whoever, to John Powell and Stephen Schwartz, like their job. That is their job in a. I feel like in a musical.
yeah.
Is-
No, I'm
is
not
from
knocking
one-
them.
from
but,
getting from that one song to the next song, because really it's about the musical songs.
yeah. So
That's interesting.
it's mind blowing and it's stupid, and Hans should be here. But even having said that, I think this is like absolutely The Brutalist should win this, no question.
I'll go with you because I know sure as heck that it shouldn't be Amelia Perez.
No,
um,
that's some of the worst music I've ever heard in a movie.
I did really like the score of Wild Robot. Can't really remember Conclave, but it's been like we watched it
Yeah.
a long time ago. So I'm just gonna go with you on
Yeah.
The Brutalist.
Uh,
Makeup and hairstyling.
oh yeah.
We have A Different Man. That's it. Just kidding.
This is a fun one
I know
because
this is really tough. Okay, so you have A Different Man, Amelia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, Wicked.
everything except for
Yes.
Amelia Perez, I think is like really awesome and would be a great win. I think let's get a body horror movie, a freaking makeup and hair, or yeah.
Yeah, you better give it to horror. You better give it to The Substance or Nosferatu.
I think The Substance, I mean, did you see the end of that movie? Give it to The Substance.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I am with it too. The Substance. Although when I watched Nosferatu, it was like this will be nominated for this category because
Yeah.
it has to be. And I was like, and I don't care what else is nominated. This is the one. And then seeing The Substance, it's like you got to give it to that.
I know. If a movie makes me cringe that much and fist pump that much,
Yeah.
you're the winner.
Yeah.
International feature, we have I'm Still Here, The Girl with the Needle, Amelia Perez, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Flow. I've only seen 2 of these movies.
Man, I really wish we could have watched Seed of the Sacred Fig. That movie looked so good.
Yeah. I
I'm
haven't heard
still-
actually a lot of people talk about it lacklusterly, though.
Oh, that's
Lately.
unfortunate.
So
So do you think it's going to be I'm Still Here?
that's what I'm going with. It's pretty cool that Flow got nominated for animated and international.
Yeah. Where's
And-
Latvia? Is that Eastern Europe?
I believe it is, yeah. But I'm Still Here. I mean, what a wonderful movie. And I hope it wins that category.
Yeah. That's my vote too. The movie was so good.
Film editing? Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez. That's so funny to read that movie so often. And Wicked. I think if I was voting, I would put The Brutalist as the winner of that one. To make a 3.5-hour movie flow so easily is pretty impressive. But a lot of times people, as they said on The Big Picture, a lot of times people confuse editing with making things short. So
Oh, like trimming the fat.
yeah, so people might not vote for that movie, even though it should probably win. But Conclave just kind of zooms.
It does, man. That movie is so good. If anyone listening to this is like, it's just another movie about a pope, I don't care, which is how I felt. It is not. It is so good. It is so good.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Conclave as the winner. I think The Brutalist should win. And as they said on Big Picture, if Anora wins, it's probably a sign that that's winning Best Picture.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm going to go with Conclave too. It's looking at this list, it's just hard because I don't really know.
Yeah.
And I didn't see The Brutalist. So I'm just going to go with my favorite movie on this list.
And speaking of, not trimming a movie's fat, Wicked, I don't think should be up for this award.
No. I'm not even recognizing that name on any list.
It was so funny. I don't know if you saw Tom Lorenzo's review of Wicked, but he said, "I cannot believe that this is not the worst musical that's nominated this year."
Oh yeah, I think I did see that.
All right, let's skip the docs because we don't know. Didn't see them. And then let's go to costuming, and we'll come back. Directing's fun to save for second to last. Okay. Costume. Is it my turn or your turn?
I don't know. A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, Wicked. For me, it has to be Nosferatu.
Slam dunk.
Yeah.
Slam dunk.
That was another thing while watching the movie that I was like, it will be nominated for this category, and I gotta give it to this category.
Yeah.
Or give it for that movie. I don't even. It looked so good.
That's my winner too.
Yeah.
Cinematography: The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu.
I am gonna. So if I did not give production design to Dune Part 2, I am gonna give it cinematography.
Okay, I like that.
Especially because of the Austin Butler planet.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
So awesome. And is that more of a cinematography thing?
Cinematography, lighting, using special cameras, it's all of it. Lighting is part of cinematography, so yeah.
That's my vote.
I'm going I think I don't know what I think is going to win. I think it's possible The Brutalist takes this, which would be a easy slam dunk win. But for me, it's a slam dunk. Nosferatu is my favorite. That's probably my favorite shot movie of the year.
Yeah, it's. I mean, all of his movies are beautiful. They all look so good.
That movie is
especially for how visually dark
oh my gosh.
all of his movies are, but he knows how to light them.
Yeah.
Or whoever his cinematographer is. Well, Jaron Blaschke or whatever this guy's name is knows how to light it so that it's still something you can look at. Especially when he goes to that little village on the way to Nosferatu.
Get out of here with that.
And it's like, if any other person was making this movie, I don't think we would be able to tell what is going on at all. It'd be so dark.
Yeah.
But you can see everything so clearly for it being just a giant dark room that they're in.
They
did a lot of just lighting through candles, huh?
Yeah, I think it's like mostly candlelight.
Yeah.
Which I won't spoil.
Yeah.
But oh man, that moment, it was like, no way. Yeah. So that's my vote. Let's skip animated short and go to feature.
We have Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, The Wild Robot.
Let's talk about each.
Okay.
Flow
is so good, but there are many times where it just looks like a video game cutscene to me.
Me too, but I know that it's good. I know that it's actually good animation. It's just not my favorite.
Yeah. So not for me. But in terms of everything else going on with it, though, that's my second favorite animated movie on this list.
Oh yeah.
Inside Out 2 was just okay to me.
Just okay. I would say it's kind of only nominated because there's not that much animation to choose from.
Yeah.
I don't think the movie's fair. I mean, it was fun to watch, and we watched it with Talia, so that was fun. But it is kind of the exact same plot as the other movie, and it doesn't really do anything new.
And I've only seen the other movie once, and I really liked it. But I feel like this movie, they cut back and forth so much that the pacing just felt so off and slow. The movie felt slow.
And I want to put this on record. I think Pixar has done it with realism, and it's time to stop.
Yeah.
Because every time it cut away to I wanted to say Randy, but that's not her name. Riley. In the real world, it was so realistic and everything looked like how it would look, even if it's animated. It's like that's how the hockey place would look. That's how their locker room would look. That I was like, I actually sat there and thought, what is the purpose of animating this at this point?
Yeah.
Why is this not an Osmosis Jones movie?
It's interesting that they did what. It's just interesting that they did movies like Luca and Turning Red. Those movies are so good, and
Yeah.
a big part of it is because the people look so different.
They're cartoony.
Yeah.
And I just,
Especially Luca. That is one of their best looking movies, easily.
yeah. I just think they're kind of up their own butts a little bit at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of over Pixar.
Yeah.
But I liked the movie fine.
It was okay.
Um,
It was fine. Memoir of a Snail, we were about to pull the trigger on watching.
yeah, heard it's great.
Heard it's great. And then once I heard that it was rated R, I was like, I just can't. There are so many movies that were nominated this year
Are heavy.
are just so heavy
And graphic.
and gross and graphic. Not to say gross in a bad way necessarily, but it was like, I think it just took a lot out of me this year.
Yeah.
So when we looked up like why Memoir of a Snail was rated R, I was just like, I cannot watch claymation characters doing whatever that is. I just can't
yeah, me
do it.
too. I
And
think I'll
I
watch
don't
it
think
someday.
there's any
but,
part of me that's going to watch that movie, to be honest.
well, if it's on,
And I've heard it's great.
if it's on something and I have the option to get out,
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
But we would have had to have rented this.
yeah,
movie.
and I'm like, I just don't want to right now.
Yeah.
Wallace
Wallace and Gromit
fun.
was fun. I was kind of bored,
Yeah,
but I thought it was fun.
the penguin was cool.
Yeah.
And then Wild Robot, slam dunk winner for me.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
I
loved
like
it.
what they said on Blank Check about this one too, where it was like the movie was so manipulative, but I'm fine that I was manipulated by it.
Yeah, I
And
don't really get that, but
I just
yeah.
think that they're saying like it's just really pulls on your emotional heartstrings so hard, like
Yeah.
a Pixar movie.
yeah,
I don't really care. I think some people can be weird about like that movie's just manipulative, and it's like, yeah, it's a story.
yeah, that's
Stories-
what I thought when they
Stories have
said
to
that.
have
I was like,
rise, climax, falling
Yeah.
action, data. Like that's just what it is. But I also agree with it.
yeah, I don't agree with it because I think that's just a story.
Yeah.
And so I don't see how that's manipulative.
Yeah.
And it's a kid's story nonetheless. It has to be obvious.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I
loved it.
it. Like the great animated movie of the year for me.
Yeah.
But if Flo wins, I'll be happy too.
Yeah.
Actress in a supporting role. Jordan, take it away.
Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown. Ariana Grande, Wicked. Felicity Jones, Brutalist. Isabella Rossellini, Conclave. Zoe Saldana, Emilia Perez.
Now, I was kind of voting for my heart. I mean, apparently the lock is Zoe. But
Not that she's bad.
no, she's the only
always good.
she's the only good
always
part about that movie.
But I just do not give this movie any recognition.
No,
Do
it's not a movie. Monica Barbaro was my favorite, and then
That was
last night
Go ahead.
I saw Wicked, and Ariana Grande is so electric. A movie I didn't want to see. I never would have seen it if it wasn't nominated for Best Picture. She is so electric, and this is definitely a backhanded compliment. But every time she is not on screen, the movie suffers like 60%. It's like 60%
How's
less
that a
enjoyable.
Backhanded compliment.
Because I'm kind of saying how bad the movie is by saying that.
Oh, okay.
When she's on screen, you're having the time of your life and you're convinced it's like a 10 out of 10 movie. When she's off screen, you're like, oh, this kind of sucks a little bit. So
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about her.
she's phenomenal, and I'm going to go with her. And I think I will vote for her on Sunday.
For me, I was pleasantly surprised to see Monica Barbaro because I just did not even think about her. But when I saw it, I was like, that's my pick.
Yeah.
She was so good. Actress in a leading role.
Okay, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez. Had she not done a ton of racist tweets in the past, she may be winning this award, but she's not going to win. It's just funny.
They probably wish they could remove her from this list.
It is just pretty funny, though, that had there not been racist tweets, this movie was favored to win like
know.
everything.
This would have been another Green Book.
So much worse, though.
Oh, but so much. Yeah.
Green Book is a watchable movie, even though it sucks. Yeah. But it's like a direct-to-TV video that you're like, yeah, okay.
Mikey Madison.
Honora. Demi Moore, The Substance, and Fernanda
Fernanda Torres.
Torres, I'm Still Here. So Demi is pretty much a lock on this from my sources. But I gotta say, I'm going to go with my heart on Sunday, and I had to go with my heart now and go with my favorite performance of an actress of the year, which is Fernanda Torres, and I'm Still Here. A haunting, beautiful
She was really
performance.
wonderful. And I'm going to go with my heart here, and I'm going with Mikey Madison.
You are going with Mikey. Okay.
Yeah. I've also, prior to seeing the movie, just leading up to it, I have seen her win so many awards for this role
Yeah.
that I kind of feel like that could be indicative
Oh, yeah.
of her winning this as well.
Mhm.
And
I mean,
she
the
was
race is between those two.
incredible.
Demi and Mikey
Yeah.
is the race. But
I thought Demi was wonderful,
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
and I think it's a great. It was not. It was like a legacy role,
Yeah.
and encapsulate that movie and that role like encapsulates her career.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. After seeing the movie though, and like seeing this list, well, it's kind of a bad list, but thinking about it, it's like I don't think she's even close to Mikey Madison or Fernanda Torres, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
And I thought she was wonderful, but that's how I feel.
It is cool though, because like those types of roles do not get awards.
They don't.
So if she won, I'll be like deserved and awesome.
Yeah.
And
it has nothing to do with the makeup.
Yeah.
I thought she was awesome.
Oh,
but
yeah.
just not.
Well, but she has to act through makeup too, which is a skill.
It is.
That's a big
Absolutely.
skill. Yeah. So
But like, I'm basically only recognizing 3 people on the list,
yeah,
and for me, it's Mikey, Fernanda, Demi.
yeah, me too. So let's talk about actor in a supporting role. You have Yura Borisov from Anora, Kieran Culkin from A Real Pain, Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce, The Brutalist, Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice. Now, apparently,
Has Jeremy Strong been nominated before?
I don't think he has.
That's pretty cool.
I think that Kieran is a lock. Like, there's no way he's not winning, basically, is what everyone says.
Brothers are going against each other.
That's true. But having said that, Yura Borisov is my heart on this one. His performance in Anora is unbelievable. And it was the kind of thing where I watched it and I was like, I wish something like that would get nominated. Because we watched the movie pretty late in the game after things were nominated. And I'm like, oh, of course this guy didn't get nominated. And then I saw he was nominated. And I'm like, oh, he is getting his flowers for this. This is a wonderful performance.
Yeah, this is a tougher list for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even just thinking with my head about it, not my heart.
Yeah.
Because I've heard, even prior to seeing A Complete Unknown, people saying like, "Oh, Edward Norton was so good," and then seeing the movie, it's like Edward Norton for me has gotten to a point where it's a little hard for me to see past Edward Norton in a movie. But that's so dumb to say because anytime I've watched him, he's so good. So it's not his like
he's really figured out who he is as an actor, though.
Yeah. So I think that's my it's a hurdle that I personally have to jump over every time I see him in a movie. So it's same with this one.
Yeah.
And then when I saw it, I was like, he is incredible. He's doing something I've never seen him do.
Yeah.
In this movie, he's so gentle.
Yeah.
Which
and
is not
I
usually
want
his
him
thing.
to play. What's his? Is he? He's not Woody Guthrie. He's
Pat.
No, it's not Pat.
Seeger. Pete
Seeger.
Yeah.
I want him to play Pete Seeger in more movies. That's how much I liked his performance.
He was so good.
So I would love it if he won. It goes without saying that I love Kieran and I love him in A Real Pain. It's one of those things where it's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's not a supporting performance; it's a lead performance. But whatever.
Yeah, that was
This
another
happens all the
interesting
time.
discussion on the Blankies episode because they did address like people criticizing the nomination because it's like he's just playing himself.
Yeah.
And they said like they were pushing back against that.
Yeah.
Which I am with them on.
I sometimes fall into that temptation, but they are right. I like what they said.
But they also said it might not help him so much that he just came off of like 5 years of being a similar, very different characters.
Yeah.
But kind of similar character.
Yeah.
With Succession. And that's in everyone's minds. And like he won an award for that one. So like that potentially could hurt his chances.
Yeah.
Which I could see that too.
Yeah.
He was incredible in the movie. I think they also said in the episode in terms of the whole, like, is he lead or is he supporting? Because I think someone's like, well, the movie opens and closes with him.
Right.
So
It's about him.
I think you could argue that he is the lead,
Yeah.
but this is just what they chose to campaign with, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is always fascinating.
Well, and like Amanda on The Big Picture was like, she has reserved herself to say, I don't care about category fraud anymore. It's not worth like getting upset about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of get that.
The only thing that why I would even say it though is it's like, well, does that hurt someone's chances
Yeah.
of winning because they should have campaigned for a different category? So I think he'll get lost in the shuffle.
You do? He's like he's going to win on Sunday.
I would love that.
That's like the award everyone agrees on.
I feel like I've heard everyone talk about Guy Pearce.
And here's the thing. In any other year that doesn't have this beautiful, sweet, gentle Yura Borisov performance, a Guy Pearce would be my absolute vote for this.
Yeah.
He is like electric in the movie. He comes in right at the right time where you need something like that. He encompasses capitalism and feeding off an artist. And he is like, for someone like myself and for you who love Guy Pearce, this is like one of his best performances, which is saying something when you're talking about Guy Pearce, like all-time character actor. Like,
yeah,
he rules, and he like stepped it up in this movie.
Okay. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, so he's wonderful in it.
But yeah, with before we saw Nora, our friend Grayson told us that it's Igor 100% of the time. So the whole time I'm just like waiting for Igor to show up. I'm like, who's this Igor guy? And he shows up like pretty late in the movie.
Yeah.
And he is crazy. And he eats a cheeseburger like nobody's business.
He really does.
I think for me is my pick simply for the cheeseburger thing.
Yeah, I got to give it to him.
But I genuinely think
his
also,
eyes. He does a lot of just eyes acting. I mean, he's wonderful.
He's so good. I love him. So I'm team Igor as well.
Me too. Actor in a leading role. Hit us.
Adrian Brody, Timothy Chalamet. Adrian Brody, The Brutalist. Timothy Chalamet, A Complete Unknown. Coleman Domingo, Sing Sing. Ray Fiennes, Conclave. Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. I wish it was Sebastian Stan, a different man. I didn't see The Apprentice, so I don't know. It probably I'm sure he's wonderful.
I didn't want to see the movie. Then it got nominated, and I saw A Different Man, and I was like, okay, now I want to see pretty much anything Sebastian Stan does.
Yeah.
And then January 20th happened, and every day since then, I've thought, I can't do more of this carrot man that runs the world.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I'll ever be able to watch that movie.
Same.
Because I have so much anxiety, and I hate what's happening.
Yeah.
And
I read a interview with Sebastian Stan specifically about The Apprentice and A Different Man.
Yeah.
And when they were talking about The Apprentice, he had just just his explaining of why he did the movie.
Yeah.
And
it got me interested.
Yeah, because it is a biopic.
Yeah.
And just going back to the beginning of this person, seeing what they were like giving someone a chance to be understood and then seeing how they devolve.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's all pretty like as an actor, that probably was so rewarding.
Yeah.
To dive into.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. It's like there's no way I'm seeing that movie.
Yeah. I mean, maybe someday.
Yeah.
Once they've, he's been in a tomb for like 20 years, I could watch it.
Yeah.
And I just mean, I'm that's not a threat or anything. I just mean he's a very old man, and once I can put him to bed, I could feel better. But I'm also never going to watch the J.D. Vance movie, so I'm probably never going to watch this movie.
What's that movie?
That's the Rickshaw Cowboy or Cowabunga Dookie or something like that with Glenn Close and Amy Adams. It came out like 4 years ago.
He
Cocaine.
wrote the movie?
It's about him.
Oh, it's about him.
Yeah, it's like Ron Howard.
Zippity Doodah.
Cocaine in the Gang or something like that. It's got a real
it's a Ron Howard
title.
movie, so it's probably subpar.
It's probably a 5 at best.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to actor in a leading role. Oh, we already said
we are here. So
okay.
Who's your pick?
This is a slam dunk, Adrian Brody. I know Timmy's been campaigning hard. Adrian Brody perhaps does the best performance he's ever done.
Wow.
And that's including The Pianist.
He won for that movie,
He won for
right?
The Pianist.
Man, that movie's so that movie was like, I loved it. I don't think I can ever watch that again.
Yeah. But it's kind of like a monumental performance, and the whole movie rests on his shoulders. I don't know how you could watch that movie and not give it to him.
Okay.
It's too good.
Okay.
It's too good of a performance.
Well, I have the disadvantage.
If Timothy wins, that would be great too.
Okay. Well, I have the disadvantage of not seeing that movie.
Yeah.
Still, and have nothing but what you just said to go off of.
Yeah.
And other stuff I've heard. I think all I can think of, all I know is the two movies of this that I have seen. I can't believe that Timothée Chalamet did Bob Dylan not a caricature. Because when I saw that first trailer, I was like, yikes,
is this going to be an SNL skit?
This is going to be an
2.5
SNL
hours?
skit for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I was just sure of it. And then you said it was really good. My dad saw it 3 times in theaters.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I was like, how did he not do it?
I know.
How did he not do it? So I think that's incredible. And then on top of that, it was just a really good performance.
Yeah. If he wins, I will have no complaints.
So I think he's my pick.
Yeah.
I think Ralph Fiennes would be fun because that's a very quiet performance.
A wonderful performance. Great hand acting.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, Adrian Brody is like on another level. You know what I mean? So, directing. Honora, Sean Baker. The Brutalist, Brady Corbet. Complete Unknown, James Mangold. Amelia Perez, Jacques Audiard. And The Substance, Coralie Farragut.
I'm going with The Substance.
That would be cool.
That's it. Period.
I don't know. I really don't know because I think it's either going to be Honora or The Brutalist.
Yeah.
If it's The Brutalist, I do think The Brutalist will be winning Best Picture.
Yeah.
If it's Honora, I do think Honora will be winning Best Picture, but I do still think Conclave is going to win Best Picture, and that's not nominated for directing. So I think we're going to have a split there. Right now, I'm being told The Brutalist in my head to win Best Director.
It's just you try directing a movie that's as crazy as The Substance, and then you're in the last third of the movie, and you have to direct that part of the movie.
She's in the last third?
No, just what happens.
Oh.
And then you have to get through that and figure it out and make it coherent and interesting and not make everyone
would love that.
barf.
Would love
although
that
we
win.
all were barfing.
Even though James Mangold, I feel like people have kind of like downplayed his directing in that movie, but honestly, if he won, I'd be happy with that too. I think it's kind of like an unbelievable directed movie. Like it's kind of the movie's sort of quiet in a way, and it's sort of standard. It's also not. It doesn't follow all the trappings of a music biopic.
Because it's a time in his life. It's not beginning and where he is now.
But I don't know. It takes a pretty experienced director to pull off that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he directed the movie, 20 years ago, it would not be as watchable as it is. So the only one,
Even though he did Walk the Line and everyone likes it?
Yeah.
Or does no one like it?
Well, people, I don't know, but I gotta watch it again. But I mean, this is a much better movie than Walk the Line.
Okay, I saw it so long ago.
Yeah, but this is better.
Yeah.
But the only terrible one would be Jacques for Amelia Perez. It's like that's an award for most directing, not best directing.
What's most directing? Just because of a nightmare of a movie it was?
No. Like, you know how sometimes people get rewarded for like you did the most of something, not the best of something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I guess he directed a lot because he did like 30 music videos that all suck. So I guess he's the most directed, but they weren't directed well.
Yeah.
That's a horribly directed movie.
Yeah.
So, best
It's
picture.
laughable.
Honora. What do you have to say about Honora? Let's talk about
I
it.
want to go to it. Honora was so good. That is
Extremely graphic, just for our listeners who need to know.
Probably the most sex I've seen in a movie, but that might be my number 2 on this list in terms of my personal like.
Yeah.
I loved that movie, but it's just because this year has been so heavy.
Yeah.
And everything. I'm like, I don't think, and not that I'm going to every movie thinking this.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't think I can ever watch that movie again.
Yeah.
It's just a lot.
That movie had a wonderful moment where it's going along and like she gets with the guy and you're kind of like, oh, this is going to be some, kind of a Wolf of Wall Street kind of movie. And then it turns into a screwball comedy. And that's when I loved it. And everything from then on ruled. The Brutalist, I will tell you about that. It was a movie that I walked out of. I had very, very high hopes for. And I walked out and I was like, I don't think I liked it. And then I sat on it. And I thought about it. And I thought about it. And I'm willing to say that it is a very, very great movie. And I think it will only age well. And unfortunately, now that it's out of theaters, I do think you should have probably seen it. But
Not
yeah.
to be that guy, but it's hard when it's that long.
Oh, I know.
And you have a kid.
But yeah, I think it's kind of an outstanding achievement, and it's kind of insane that it exists. And I do really, really like it. I think it's one of those movies where when I watch it a second time, I'm going to be like, why did I not think this was like a 10 out of 10 masterpiece the first time? But there's a lot to chew on. And the second act after the intermission, it kind of takes a turn. And I also think Felicity Jones is not great in the movie. So
You don't think she's great in the movie?
no, I wasn't sure how I felt about her. And then on The Big Picture, Amanda talked about how she is not really a fan of hers and was like, I don't know what it is. I can't really pin it down, but I just don't think she's very good in this. And I was like, oh, it was one of those things where I heard it and I'm like, wait, I didn't realize it, but I do feel that way. She looks like she's acting and trying really hard in the whole movie, you know? If she won, I would be disappointed. All right. A Complete Unknown, Jordan. Well, we kind of talked about it actually just now.
It was good.
Yeah, really great.
It was a really good movie. I don't think it's Best Picture.
One of the few movies where every time he ended a song, I was so engrossed in the movie that I had to fight the urge to clap because I felt like I was like at a concert watching Bob Dylan, and that is a huge achievement. Yeah, so that's wonderful, and I love how just half the movie is just people looking at Bob Dylan and him playing like a complete song, and then being like, "I like that," and I think that's the right move for the movie, and then. Whoever that guy was that was on the TV show with him, the PBS thing,
Oh yeah, the blues guy
that was
drinking the
laughing
schnapps or something.
so hard during that scene. It's a great movie.
like a family show.
Yeah.
Conclave. Yeah, I loved this movie so much.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited to see it once I found out it was directed by the All Quiet on the Western Front Peep.
Yep.
And yeah, like I said, if you're like a Pope movie, it's really good.
Yeah, it was very funny though, because when the trailer for this movie happened, I have to call you out.
I know.
I was like, this looks good. Whatever this looks good. It looks old school in a
And
fun
I was
way.
like, it's just another Pope movie.
And Jordan's like rolling
Look
her
at them in
eyes
the
and
red
stuff.
hats.
And then at one point it says directed by the director of All Quiet, and I could kind of see Jordan like straighten up and be like, oh yeah, that does look kind of interesting. And I'm like, oh brother, dude.
Yep.
But it's just people in rooms talking.
Yeah. That's all I need in a movie.
And it's basically a legal thriller.
Yes.
It rocks.
Yes.
It is just kind of
I
like
love a movie
so engrossing.
that by the end of it, I do feel kind of exhausted by it.
Yeah.
Because you like went through it with them.
Yeah.
This whole mind game thing. And it's just like, I need a good nap after that one.
And I do think with ranked choice voting, I've said it since I saw the movie, I think this movie is going to win. And it is about an election and not choosing an evil person to be elected. So there's the modern angle. I think this is going to win. I'm still holding to that.
And it was quite thrilling.
Yeah. But if I had to rank it, I think I'd go this, then The Brutalist, then Anora as what I think might win, not my favorites.
Yeah.
Dune Part 2, this is my favorite of the nominees. I mean, Dune Part 2 is a movie that was made for Micah. It is like everything I like about movies, everything I like about stories in a movie. And it was like directed by one of my favorite filmmakers. And he said, would you like this movie? And I said, yes, please. Munch, munch.
Dune Part 2 for me, I think what I said afterward was, I know that was a really good movie.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't like the book. Sorry, guys. It took me forever to get through. I think it was too hard sci-fi for me, for my taste.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was a bad book. It was just hard for me. So when they're making the movie, it's like, that's cool. I mean, I love sci-fi. I'm there to see it. And even with the first movie, I was like, this was great. I don't have any emotional attachment to it. So same with the second movie. I did like the second movie more.
Oh yeah.
And
love the first movie. This is a huge improvement. And the first movie, I wouldn't change anything about it.
No, I wouldn't either. Javier Bardem, if he was not in this movie, like if he's just the best part. He's the best part.
He's
so
so
when
good.
he's in this doing his thing in the second movie, it's like that is the emotional core for me.
Yeah.
Other than that, I just don't really care about it, but I love it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it rules. They ride a space worm in the dunes. I mean,
What more could you ask for?
yeah,
And they made it look really good.
yeah. Amelia
Can you
Perez.
remind me what they changed with the Chani character again?
Well, at the end of the book, she is like with Paul,
Yeah.
and now it's like he has 2 wives basically.
Oh, okay.
And so,
but in the movie, he like, go ahead. Sorry.
well, so it's the same thing where like in the throne room, he like takes Florence Pugh
yeah,
as his wife, and that's
Like,
like
politically.
the political one. And Jessica says like he will never. The book ends, I think, with Jessica talking to Florence and basically being like, "You will never be accepted into this family."
yeah.
And Chani is his true love, so suck it.
But
Basically,
they don't do that in the movie.
No, in the movie, Chani.
It's betrayed.
Well, it's the same betrayal.
Yeah.
But then she leaves and
That's
she
right.
goes into the dunes. So it's like it's a huge change, and I think it makes her character like 100% more interesting, and I think it sets them up to do some stuff in the adaptation of the next book that could be extremely interesting. And I actually. That's one of the very few things they changed about the movie, but it's so significant that I'm like, I don't know what you do, because then there's not like trouble between them in the next book between Chani and him.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty wild.
yeah. Amelia Perez, the worst Best Picture nominee I've ever seen. Had Deadpool and Wolverine not come out this year, this would absolutely be the worst movie I've seen this year.
This movie is perplexing.
But
how
I will
bad
tell
it
you
is.
this. If you're wondering about it and you're like, maybe it's too intense, maybe it's graphic, maybe it's whatever,
It's just so nothing.
it's tame and nothing. And I would say if you like, get some friends, get a couple of beers and watch this movie, because it's so hilarious. It is actually like Mystery Theater 3000, like,
and I
funny.
just have to throw out my 2 cents about how frustrating it is that it's the main character besides Zoe Saldana is the main character, but your other main character is this cartel leader, like this really, really dangerous
Ruthless.
person who comes to Zoe Saldana, who's a lawyer, and is like, I am a woman. I've always felt this way. Like, help me change my identity and like get the surgeries so that I can become a woman and like disappear.
Yeah.
I'm done with the cartel life.
Doctor.
No. And so it happens. He becomes a woman,
Yeah.
and then she is like, I don't know. It's just like, if you're running like the most notorious cartel and you just disappear into thin air and no one knows, I think you have enough enemies who would track you down and find you.
They did fake the death.
I don't care. They have enough enemies.
Well, and they wouldn't be looking for a woman.
I know. I
Okay.
That she has enough of a past. I'm just talking about story-wise. This is just way more interesting of a thing, that she has enough of a terrible past that at some point, the whole movie, I'm like, this is going to catch up to her, right?
Oh, yes.
Where someone is going to figure out that who she's become and make her reckon, like, even if it's the law or something, like, reckon with what she did, the movie basically says she starts this organization that helps all of these missing people in Mexico. People find their bodies so that families can have closure. And it's like, the cartel did this. The cartel killed your family.
So you think
She's the cartel. She killed these people. And there's just no consequences to any actions, and it is so frustrating.
Yeah, it is one of the silliest movies I've ever seen.
It takes like her wife to like, it's like, that's the thing that catches up to her, and I think it's so ridiculous. It is so silly. I hated it.
Yeah, but like, fun to watch because it is so bad. I mean, truly, I've encouraged people to watch it who are like, oh, so it's really bad. I'm like, if you enjoy watching a movie and like making jokes while you're watching it, this is one of those movies. It is that bad.
It is.
And it is I don't know, I can't think of a single Best Picture nominee that is this bad that I've seen. That's even close. Like you would think this is like someone's first movie, and this guy's made so many movies.
Let's blow past it though. We're done talking about it.
I'm Still Here was a movie that we saw, and we caught it in theaters. And it is a true story, which I didn't know until the credits rolled. I was just
like, man, please show me some pictures of real people.
the Brazilian dictatorship in the 70s and people getting arrested and all this stuff. And it was so prescient to the political climate that is occurring in
stressful.
America that I was terrified for like a week. That was how affecting the movie was. And I think this is like, I think sometimes when a movie is just this well made and this like seamless, you don't think of it as that much of an achievement. But this thing like sings and it has a really powerful message, and it was just a gut punch.
Yeah.
And I just was genuinely moved, and I just think it's like a pretty unreal movie. Like this is of the nominees, this is my second favorite, below Dune.
I believe, or I agree. I think it's an incredible movie. I do kind of feel like the first part of it, I understand the importance of establishing the happy-go-lucky family.
Yeah.
I think it was a little too long. For me, I was getting to a point of like, but what's going on? Like, what's personally?
Yeah.
But I thought it was so good, and I think it definitely deserves a nomination.
Yeah. And we'll insert an iPhone demo at the end of this about Nickel Boys. iPhone audio. The Substance.
So fun that it's nominated.
Unprecedented. The only movie I can think of that's been nominated that is even remotely close to this is The Exorcist.
Or Get Out, in terms of modern, like in the last few years.
Yeah, that was
Get Out was very surprising.
Get Out, but this is The Fly, this is The Thing. Like these movies don't get nominated, and I can't believe it's nominated. So like if this somehow won, I would be like, we're in a new era of the Oscars, and like they're cool now because The Substance is a cool movie.
And I heard it was wonderful, amazing, great, blah blah blah. But when we started watching it, I was like, oh, this is like an ode to Stanley Kubrick and John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's pretty obvious, but it's like, is it so obvious and that's why no one's talking about that? Because it's visually just beautiful to look at because it's so colorful and poppy. And then on top of the colorful and poppiness, you have the disgusting stuff. And it's just like, it made me so happy because I felt like it was such a love letter to those two incredible directors.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, how come no one's talking about that?
I know.
I mean, other than that, it's a great movie.
It's a movie about, Hollywood and stuff.
Yeah.
So like that sometimes gets them the edge. And it was funny because I'd heard it was like so gnarly. And when it started and when it starts going down the gnarliness, I'm going, okay, this is pretty gnarly. Mm-hmm. But in the last 30 minutes, I was like, oh, this is like hard to top gnarly. Like this is some of the gnarliest stuff I've ever seen. And I was like, we were watching it at home. I was bummed that I missed it in theaters.
Yeah.
And I was basically holding my hand down from fist pumping like almost the entire movie.
I don't think butts have been featured so heavily in a movie that I've seen before.
Yeah. Great butt action in this.
It was funny though, because it's in a way, it's a very like showing youth, especially female youth.
Yeah.
To the like, it is ultra that I think is so good.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we were watching it with Lauren, and I was just like, this isn't even close to as like sexy as Nora is or something.
Yeah.
In terms of like thinking of other movies of this year, because I think
because this has like probably the same amount of nudity as Nora, but it's not presented in the same way.
No. And it's just funny. It's a funny year
on the TV, and the like chicken bone pops out of her butt. And then they're like, can you guys play that back? That was horrifying.
I know.
Star-making performance for Margaret Qualley as well.
Oh yeah. I am so excited to see where she'll go because my first thing I saw her in, I believe, is Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
And she was a complete standout for me in that movie. And then we have Wicked. Let's wrap it up.
Wicked. Saw it last night. Some of this is problems with the story, which of course this is a book that was adapted into a musical that's now adapted into a movie. I think the story, dare I say, kind of sucks. My biggest question with the movie is, are we not allowed to hire little people anymore? Because they didn't hire him for Wonka, they didn't hire him from Snow White, and they didn't hire him for this movie. There were two little people that walked by one time, and yet the movie starts in Munchkinland. When the movie started, 20 minutes of the like intro, I was like, oh, this could rival Amelia Perez. Like, this is a bad movie. Once they get to Shiz University, the movie starts going, and it is fun. I think, had I seen this outside of the context of this is nominated for Best Picture, I would be like, oh, this was a good movie.
It's a good thing you saw it in theaters.
Yeah, but seeing it in the context of this is not a best picture. This is no, it's okay. The singing is great. Ariana Grande carries this movie. And Defying Gravity is a great song. My favorite part was when we got to see the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem.
What does she do? Or who is she?
It's actually clever. They go to the land of Oz, and her and then Glinda from the play
Yeah.
are like explaining a story like on a play setting that's like how Oz came to be.
That's cool.
And they keep on like trying to get into the spotlight and shoving the other behind them. So
Cool.
it was actually quite a charming scene. They were so charming though that I didn't catch what they were talking about, and so then they were talking about this like Necronomicon type thing, and I was like, I don't
What?
know what that is.
Like the Book of the Dead?
Well, I'm using that as a catch-all
Oh, okay.
for like book that Oz reads to fulfill a prophecy or some S like that.
Okay.
It's a bad story, and it is truly half a movie, more so than like Dune was, more so than
Yeah.
Avengers was. I would say this is like this is a middle tier Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So
For me, I could have seen this movie, but I chose not to. To be fair to the movie, which sounds dumb, but I just knew that I will and can never give this movie a chance. So it's better for me and the movie if I just don't see it.
yeah.
So I did not watch Wicked, and I will not watch Wicked.
So I am going to make a quick adjustment to my top 10, and I'll just hit these real quick so we can get out of here. I think I've thought about The Brutalist a lot, and I think I gotta throw it up into the top 10 here.
Well, I'll give you my top few.
Yeah.
Handful. Best movies of the year for me were A Different Man,
Mm-hmm.
Trap, easily.
Yeah.
Easily Trap. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Nosferatu.
Okay.
Those are like my top 4.
And folks, remember, these are my top 10. This is very subjective.
Yeah.
Coming in at 10, The Wild Robot.
Yeah.
Coming in at 9, I'm putting The Brutalist at 9. I have jumped it up quite a bit. It just keeps growing. Coming in at 8, A Different Man. Wonderful movie. Should be nominated for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in at 7, your boy M. Night. He's back again.
He trapped us.
It's Trapped. That movie rocks so hard. And if anyone tells you it's dumb, they don't get it, and they should just stop watching M. Night movies and being mad about it, because these are the kind of movies he makes, and he's the best at it. Number 6, I'm Still Here. I loved it. I gave it the old 5 out of 5 for me.
Great.
Deeply affecting. Number 5, Nosferatu. Wonderful. Everything movies should be. Number 4, A Real Pain. Completely genuine, swept away in it, loved it.
The when they go to a concentration camp, they just shot that in a way I'd never seen before, and I thought it was really powerful.
It's great.
I'll put that in my top 5.
Then I had to move it around. I had to get it higher. It's Better Man at number 3.
Yeah.
Better Man, just a quick side. Folks, just watch this movie. It is so good. It's so good, and I think about it, I would say daily. I love this movie so
Mike
much.
has talked about it every day since he's seen it, and I feel like he saw it 2 months ago,
I did see it 2 months ago.
and I'm getting a little tired of it.
Honestly, in some ways, it is my favorite movie of the year. But it's been a long time since I've seen Dune. So Dune comes in at number 2.
Okay.
And then my favorite movie of the year, the monkeys are back. It's The Kingdom of the Planet
They're
of the Apes.
They're not monkeys.
Yes, sorry.
Don't
There's
be disrespectful.
yes. So yeah.
We still need to watch the VFX cut.
Yes, we do.
Man.
But you have Proximus, you have Noah, you have a wonderful collection of new
What's
characters.
the orangutan's name?
Raka, of course.
Raka. Yeah.
And
It's a genuinely good story,
it rocks
and it
so
looks
hard.
so good. It's just amazing. It's
I
just
love the
so
Planet
incredible.
of the Apes.
The bird stuff's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The sets when they go to like the airport is super cool.
And you know what? Here's the thing. I didn't really like Wicked. You know, it was fine. But guess what? They had apes in it. And that's something that's good. What do I have in common with movies I like this year? Apes. Okay? Better Man. He's an ape. Okay? More apes. I love them. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, 10 out of 10. I love it. I love it so much. If you haven't seen it, turn this podcast off and get it. All right, join Patreon. Love you guys. We'll see you next month when we do Gladiator 1.
Bye.
We just finished Nickel Boys. Jordan, what did you say?
Best movie of the year.
And I liked it a lot. Not the best for me, but it was very good. Pretty wild ending.
Yeah.
And they pulled off the point of view, which I didn't know was possible.
Yeah.
Wow, that's not up for cinematography. Okay, see you next month, folks, unless you got something else.
Just a really good movie.